What's good, everybody? It's your boy Billy. We back at it again with another sample tutorial, and we're gonna run it back with the Sexy Drill R&B sample. Let's get into it. First, we're gonna start with our chords. Right here, we got a G sharp minor 11th into a A sharp dominant 7, and then we ended on a D sharp minor 9th. And my first sound is just a regular piano from Complete Control, the Alicia Keys preset. Let's listen to it. Let's go ahead and take a look at this mixer state. All I'm doing for a lot of my instruments, I'm gonna cut the lows, boost or cut some frequencies that I like or don't like, throw some reverb on there, and then I'm gonna compress it. That's what I'm gonna do for most of them. Let's look at the other sounds. One from Analog Lab, type of pad type of thing. So same thing here. Cut the lows, boost the frequencies, cut the frequencies, and then I compress. My last sound is with Sky Keys. And again, same thing. Cut the lows, cut the low mids this time, didn't really boost anything, and then I'm compressing the sound. Let's see what all these sounds sound like together. So not too complicated, real simple chord progression that we got going. And these sounds are going to my main bus, which is comprised of a EQ, cutting out the lows and taking a little dip in that low mid section. I'm compressing the sound, boosting it a little bit with the radiator and cutting out the bass, boosting the treble a little bit there too, and the overall volume. And then also just throwing a soft clipper on there as well. And that's my main bus. And all of my main instruments are gonna be feeding into that bus. And let's look at the next sound. We got some vocal samples here. Let's play all of them at the same time, actually. So a nice little selection of sounds right there. I'm not doing too much. I did just pitch up this first sound by 12. It was originally low, but it was kind of getting muddy with the low end, so I just pitched it up all the way so you can actually hear it. I'm not doing any effects for the other vocal samples, but I do have a vocal chain bus where I'm cutting the lows, throwing some chorus on there, adding a little rev spring for reverb, and then I'm boosting some frequencies that I found would fit nice together. And then I'm compressing the overall sound again, and that's feeding into my main instrument bus. I'm also putting all the vocal samples in mono, around 66%. All right, so let's move on to the last part of the actual instrumentation section, which is the textures. And this is just a texture sample from Monte Booker's kit. Really ducked off, really low. You're not really gonna hear it, especially with the cuts I did in the EQ. Pretty much took off all the low end, and then just decreased the volume by a ton. I also put it in mono, just so you really can't hear it, but it does create some fuzz, some buzz in the background, just to kind of glue everything together. And it's also being sent to my main bus. So let's take a look at all the sounds together. So let's take a look at our drums. I'll start from here because I'm doing it. There's two sections to the drums, an A section and a B section, kind of. So let's listen to the A and then the B. So that's a nice little drum composition there. It gives you the drill element, the drill effect. I'm not doing a lot in the individual mixer states for my from our percussion, just because, like I said in my last video, when you use some high quality sounds from good sources, you really don't have to tweak the individual sounds too much, especially the drums. So you're good. They've already been EQ'd and compressed a whole bunch of times, probably by people that had it before you or wherever you bought the samples from or got the samples from. So you're most likely gonna be good just to leave them as is and just do some leveling. So we have here, the only thing I really did for my triangle was just kind of dip the high a little bit. But overall, didn't do too much. I just put all those sounds into my drum bus, where I'm cutting a little bit of the low end and dipping some frequencies in the low, mid, and the highs. Compressing the sound just to glue it all together. Putting some radiator on there to get some loudness back in, and then a soft clipper. For my kick, I did do a little bit of extra processing on top of it. Just EQ'd it, cut out a little bit of the muddy low end. Did some dips in the mid and the highs. Put a decapitator on there just for some crunch. Compressed the sound, boosted it back up with radiator, and then put a soft clipper on there. All right, so for the last section of the sample is our bass. Similar to the last video, this beginning with the analog bass synth and then 808 section. So let's look at the bass synth. So really just the root note of my chords. And let's look at the mixer state for these. So for the original mixer state, I'm just cutting out a little bit of that muddy low end. For my parallel compressor chain, I'm throwing some decapitator on there, and of course a compressor. Both of these signals are going into my analog bass bus. I wanted to keep the analog bass bus separate from my 808 bus, just because I'm doing different things in there. Just cutting the lows from my bus, compressing it, throwing some R bass on there to beef it up, radiator to boost the sound, just taking a little bit of the bass. I thought some of that low end was still a little bit really muddy, and I want to kind of clean that up, and then throwing a soft clipper on there as well. And that's all I'm really doing for the bass synth. And lastly, my 808s. Got a little slide going on. For my 808 J, my original has EQ on it, cutting a lot of the highs out. Decapitator gives some extra crunch. My parallel compression chain, of course, has a compressor. And then my 808 bus, EQing, cutting a little bit of the lows out with a dip in the bass section, beefing it up with R bass, compressing the sound, and then boosting it back up again. And actually, I kind of decreased the overall volume a little bit on this one as well, because I think it was a little bit overpowering. And then a soft clipper on top to finish it off. And that's my 808 bus. All right, so let's look at the master channel now. For the master channel, threw a Pultec EQ on there, a little bit of boost, a low end attenuation, boosting again in the mids, attenuation in the mids. I don't usually like to boost too high and attenuate too high. It'll throw the whole sound off, so you really gotta play around with it. But usually when I'm boosting my basses at the 30 hertz, my bandwidth's at around 3K and 4K, and then my high frequency is around 10K. And then obviously my attenuation for that is 10, and I'm just boosting a little bit on the overall volume. For my SSLG bus compressor, tack on 1, ratio set to 4, SC filter set to around 45-50. I'll change that a little bit. And then no makeup gain on this one because I thought it was already pretty loud. And I plan to put this tape effect on it, this tape J37 from Arturia, which already kind of boosts it. It's on the mix enhancer preset. Then I'm taking it to parametric EQ, just boosting the highs a little bit and a little bit of this low mid, and then throw the soft clipper on there. So overall, that's the sample. Let's go ahead and take a look at it in full context. So that's the full sample. But before we go, y'all gotta let me know what y'all think, because I put this sound shifter on it and I raised it up by 2 semitones, and I'm kind of conflicted on how the sounds between the both. I might do like an A and a B section, but this is what it sounds like with the pitched up 2 semitones. I'm really conflicted. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think, and let me know what y'all want to hear next. See y'all next time.